Hey there, Virgo. Welcome to your May 2024 reading. It's me here, Krystal Clear, happy to deliver Spirit's message for you. I'm going to start by pulling two cards for the energy of May. One for the place where you're at the beginning of the month, and then one for the end of the month. So coming into May, Virgo, we've got the farther gate, bold step forward. Taurus also got this coming into the beginning of the month also. So if there's any connection to Taurus, or check out that message if it resonates. Coming out of the month, we've got Eyes of the Eagle, rising above the fray. So pretty transformational month here for you, Virgo. There's a lot going on and there's a lot of movement happening with the farther gate, bold step forward. This is all about stepping outside of the constraints and restraints and things that have been holding you back. Sometimes I do, with this card, a lot of the times, what holds us back is of the mind. And when I see Eye of the Eagle, and we'll look for that towards the end of the month, but when I see that as the end of the month, rising above the fray, and I see the eye being the focus, like the mind, the priorities of the mind really matter at the beginning of this month for you, Virgo. It's like you're either taking an analytical inventory of your thoughts, and you can do this and simply decide, yes, this moves me forward, or this holds me back. Thoughts can only do one of those two things. They can inspire us to move or they can discourage us into being still. And depending on what our sole purpose is, sometimes we need to be still when we want to move, and sometimes we want to move when we need to be still. So the farther gate means you're taking that bold step forward. Sometimes that means being still, stilling the mind so that you can physically take the step forward. But apply this to your physical experience as well. But there's definitely some change happening. Also, I notice it's card number 55, and that's all about change and shift. So there's a change coming, the 5-5 in the 5th month for Virgo. And as we leave the month, that change helps you rise above the fray. It puts you in a new position. So I feel like this month there's some clearing happening for you, Virgo. Not only are you clearing things on a mental place, but then I also feel like once you get that mental clarity, and we'll pull a card for the week to see how it develops. Once you get that mental clarity, that is when you start making some moves. So I do feel like the mental clarity comes in and the moves begin. And as you start to make those moves, you see that there's opportunities that actually open for you as you begin to take that step. So Eye of the Eagle flies higher than the rest of the birds. They don't fly with other birds. They fly higher than a storm. They fly higher than most birds. And because of that, they can see their prey. They can, find their mates. They can see their habitat, which is best for them. It's what makes them one of the more regal birds out there, is because they choose to take, a higher perspective on things. So as you raise your perspective and you see things from a higher perspective, I do feel like that is going to open up doors for you to make some changes and to take some action this month. So this month is about clearing the perspective and taking action for you, Virgo. So let's see what that looks like. I'm going to pull 4 cards, one for each week. So for the first week of May, we've got the 10 of Cups reversed. Second week, we've got the Knight of Swords. The third week, we've got the King of Cups. And the fourth week, we've got the Emperor. Okay, interesting. Lots of masculine energy here for sure. So let's just start at the beginning with the beginning of May with the 10 of Cups reversed. Yeah, and followed by the Knight of Swords, that's all about the perception shifting. And the 10 of Cups is like, there are some things that just don't work. You can only do so much. You can only work so much. You can only study so much. You can only love so much. You can only do the things that you can do with the things that you have for as much as you can or as long as you can. And I do feel like with the 10 of Cups reversed, followed by the Knight of Swords, there has been this mentality that has made you take on maybe too many things. And you might find in your mind that your beliefs told you, well, I got to do this, or I got to do more of this. I got to do more of that. I have to do this. And I feel like either it's because of something within family support or your intimate relationship with your partner. There's a close relationship or group of connections around you that maybe, I wouldn't say they made you feel enough because I don't like to blame people, but your perception of your role in their life or their perception of how you live your life has mattered a little too much. And it's caused you to maybe take on some responsibilities that have caused disharmony somewhere in your life where you're feeling a bit overwhelmed or out of sorts, but it's more because of the things that you took on. And so that brings us to the second week with the Knight of Swords. That's when that thought process, that how Spirit was saying that sometimes we need to clear the mind and then we can take the step forward and see a higher perspective. That's what this Knight of Swords is all about. Swords is all about our thoughts and our communication. You can see she's got this bold, right? There's that bold, she's got a bold look on her face. Am I right? Looking forward. She's like, some of these thoughts and what I've thought about myself that I need to do or I should do. Don't should on yourself. I've been thinking and I've taken too much on. And with the Knight of Swords coming in, it's really showing you where it's maybe time to take back a little bit of your own empowerment, starting with your mind and seeing the real base, the intention of why you do the things that you do, why you take on the things that you take on, and start to say yes where it's a yes, and make sure to say no where it's a no, not to take on more than what you can handle. Because I do feel with the Emperor, it's like there is expansion happening, but when we try to control too much, there will be things that fall apart because we're trying to do it all. And so finally, before we get to the Emperor, we've got the King of Cups reversed. With the Ten of Cups reversed, this does indicate that there's some hardships either with love or like self-love and like trying to appease everyone, trying to do all of the things, be all of what you can be to all of the people that you can be it to. It's exhausting, Virgo. It's exhausting. And this month, I really feel like you come into a place where you take back control and where it's not a selfish thing to take care of yourself first, because how can you take care of your love? How can you take care of your work? How can you take care of your family, your education, your health, your wellness, if you're not first taking time for yourself? And when the King of Cups is reversed, there are some lies that we tell ourselves, some heartbreaks that we give ourselves. And it's important to take a look into those. And I feel like since it comes after the Knight of Swords, this is more about self-reflection rather than people in your life. But I do feel that the perception you hold about the people in your life is what has caused you to maybe run yourself down a bit. May is definitely the month where you rise above, and you rise above in a way that is simpler, and you start to take care of yourself and your home. This is the Emperor card. This is the Father card of the tarot. So taking care of your home, taking care of yourself, guarding your heart, guarding your home, being secure and stable, and controlling the things that you can without, having to control everything. We cannot control how other people perceive us. And we can't even, there are some dreams that we just have to, adjust. We have to make some adjustments. And so when the Emperor comes up, it's reminding you to allow yourself to adjust to different dreams taking place, taking really the bold step forward, coming into view that you might not have seen before. You see here, as you take that farther, you go past that farther gate and you take the step forward, the sunlight is like beaming down into this dark cave. So where you might have felt overwhelmed and things like that, there is, as you take that step, the Spirit guides the way. There is opportunity to shift. And it's a happy opportunity. So we just have to reduce some of our obligations. All right. So finally, a few cards for Spirit's advice and insight for the month. We've got Kiss the Muse. Kiss the Muse. What brings Virgo inspiration? What brings you inspiration? What brings you happiness, peace, passion? Go back to when you were a child. Think about when you were a child, but not trying to impress people or prove anything. When you were by yourself as a child, happily playing, happily doing you, even young adults, maybe early teens. What did you love to do? Was it writing? Was it painting, dancing? Did you like different languages, math? Like, what was it that you loved to do? Remember those pieces of you. Go back to your childhood hobbies and do that. Spend time in nature. Do the things that feel good for you, not because they look good on social media or they look good on a resume or they look good in your college applications, but because it feels good. That's what Spirit wants you to look to this month of May. And submerge. Allow yourself to be, oh wow, submerge. So it just reminds me really of being a kid. I remember being fascinated as a kid that when you went underwater, things sounded different, right? It's like we don't hear the chaos of things sometimes when we're underwater. And sure, sometimes the word submerge and being underwater can be very scary or overwhelming. But in this, I feel like tune out those voices. Tune out the voices of expectation and perfection that you may be holding on to, and allow yourself to submerge in the flow of water. And then finally, we've got hold your ground. Hold your ground. Hold your ground, right? Very similar. Look at this. Very similar to the Emperor. To control what you can. It's not about what other people want of you, think of you, or need of you. It's what brings you happiness. What is your inspiration? And how can you just captivate that more? That's where focus wants you. That's where Spirit wants you to focus for the month of May, Virgo. So I hope this helps. Take care.